Hey friends, this is Ken Tobias, and this is my second vodcast in my Lucid Dreaming tutorial. They told me to say vodcast. I didn't want to. Also, there is no they. It's just me. The first one was about what lucid dreaming is, what it feels like, what you can expect. The second one is going to dive into the exercises that will get you up and running ASAP. I'm sure you've been instructed on things before, and don't you hate it when the teacher's just going on and wasting your time and not giving you the information that you really came for? Yeah, I hate that too. Okay, just a couple of things before we jump in. I wanted to say again why I'm doing this. Anybody who knows me knows this isn't exactly like me. My normal resting state is resting. The reason I'm doing this is because I am passionate about lucid dreaming because it is so radical. And I'm using radical not in the sense of a physical thrill, although it is that. So I'm not using radical in the sense of roller coasters or skydiving or parasailing, although it is that. I'm using it in the sense of that you have the opportunity in what you know is a non-physical landscape, but you experience it as completely physical. And not only that, it's made up of your imagination and your conscious and subconscious mind. So it's quite mind-blowing. And for those of you who have never experienced it, I really hope you do. The second item is something that I wanted to mention in the first session, but I forgot. And you may be wondering, what kind of production is this where the host forgets to mention something? And I'll tell you that it's the kind of production where the host isn't wearing pants. What I wanted to mention was dream recall, or just remembering your dreams. Obviously, if you're not remembering your dreams, you're not remembering your lucid dreams. Now, I would expect, actually, that if you've already started with the exercises from last time, that you're already experiencing better dream recall. And if you are, please comment and let everyone know what your experience is with that. But there are two very simple ways to increase dream recall. One is to simply set the intent, just like we're doing in other exercises, where as you're falling asleep, just say to yourself, I am going to remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. Just set the intent. The second thing is starting a dream journal. Writing down your dreams is something that's really useful. It'll let you go back and see how your experience has changed. And I'll just mention that if you're in bed, you wake up from a dream and you think to yourself, I will remember it, I can promise you, you won't. We don't remember our dreams easily at all. It's almost like there's some kind of mechanism there to forget our dreams. So if there's a dream you have that you want to remember, write it down. I'm going to be offering a number of exercises, and you can do all of them. You can also mix and match and just, focus on the ones that feel right to you and where you feel that there's kind of a click, an intent to lucid dream. The first one, which I mentioned in the other session, is to, throughout the day, whenever it occurs to you, to simply pause and ask yourself, am I dreaming? Could I possibly be dreaming? The reason for this exercise is the brain is not used to asking that question. We take it for granted that we're not dreaming all the time. And so we want to change that behavior and just get the brain in the habit of questioning the reality that it's in right then. So that's the exercise. You can, of course, set a timer, to go off every hour if that's helpful, or put a note up, or make it your computer screensaver. But just remind yourself to check whether you're dreaming throughout the day. The next exercise I also mentioned in the last session, and that is, as you're falling asleep, you're going to say to yourself, the next time I'm dreaming, I'm going to remember to recognize that I'm dreaming. The next time I'm dreaming, I'm going to remember to recognize that I'm dreaming. Again, the exact precise words are not critical. What you're going for is the intent or the expectation or even the confidence to connect with that feeling that what you're saying is true. Okay, we're going to add a step to this affirmation that we're using the next time I'm dreaming. What I'm going to ask you to do is intersperse that affirmation and that intent with actually picturing in your mind what it is you want to do when you're lucid. So think about that. Do you want to fly? Do you want to speak to someone? Do you want to go to the moon or the sun? Whatever it is that feels exciting for you and motivating for when you're lucid, I want you to use that phrase the next time I'm dreaming, and then take a few moments to picture yourself doing what it is you want to do. Imagine it, picture it, and alternate between using that affirmation the next time I'm dreaming and picturing yourself actually doing what you want to while you're lucid. This is going to really help set the intent and create a riper environment for lucidity. So this exercise can be done when you're first going to sleep at night, but even more valuably in the early morning. So if you're up for any reason and going back to sleep, that is a really ripe time for that exercise because we spend more time in REM sleep, dream sleep, in the early morning hours rather than when we first go to sleep. Something I didn't mention last time is napping is also a very ripe opportunity for lucid dreaming because it's a kind of a combination of a lot of waking time with sleep. So definitely use these exercises for nap time if you get that opportunity. Another exercise involves identifying the patterns that show up in our dreams because these patterns or symbols can be used as a trigger for lucidity if we prepare ourselves. So, for example, for me, a couple of environments that often show up in my dreams are my childhood home or my grandparents' farm. So if I set my expectation that the next time I'm at my childhood home or my grandparents' farm, I will remember that I'm dreaming. So the first step is to think back on your dreams and start noticing them now. And think about what patterns you can use, what symbols are recurrent that you can use as a trigger for lucidity. So I would write these down and we'll come back to this. But for now, just think back on your dream history and come up with patterns that you can use as a cue to recognize that you're dreaming. So speaking of cues and patterns, for me, one of the it's not unusual for me to dream of natural disasters, being involved in tsunamis or earthquakes. So for me, those have become a cue to lucidity. I can't tell you the number of times where the earth has started shaking or I'm about to be consumed by a tidal wave and thought, wait a second, wait a minute. And that's my cue to waking up in the dream. So, if you find any patterns like that, they're extremely useful. So I want to mention a couple of attitudes to bring to all your work on lucid dreaming. This is something that you're going to want to remind yourself of whenever you can, and I will also remind you. The attitude we bring to this work, since it is generally, it's mental, non-physical, really makes a difference and will have a great impact in your practice. So the first is patience. Patience is important. Everyone is different. There is no way to know for sure when you will have your first lucid experience or your next one. So if you can, and it's easy to be impatient, because you want it and it's exciting. But patience is really crucial. And without patience, then frustration can creep in, and frustration will be just act as an obstacle and not useful for where you want to go. The second attitude is faith. As much as you can to just encourage, nurture a sense of that this is going to happen, you are going to experience it, and just know that that is true. The more that you can nurture that attitude, the more it's going to benefit you. So patience and faith, I highly recommend those. Remind yourself, and I will too. Patience and faith are actually useful in many situations, and I'll be discussing that more in my next series entitled Finding Love in the Era of Zoom. So it's overtime really, for me to credit where I learned lucid dreaming from and the basis for the exercises that I'm teaching you. They're from a gentleman named Stephen LaBerge, who is a pioneer in lucid dreaming. He wrote books on it a few decades ago. He talks about it, and I've posted some of those talks on my YouTube channel. I think there's a 3-minute one, a 13-minute one, and a 45-minute one. So whatever fits. He's a great teacher. He did amazing things with experimenting with lucid dreaming in a lab environment. And we'll get to talk about that soon. So thank you, Stephen LaBerge, and please check him out. So one admin thing, in my first video, I mentioned please comment and ask questions on the video. And what I didn't realize is that I had said the video was okay for children, but by doing that, it automatically shuts off all comments. I can only imagine that's because you all, enter the comment section like Godzilla stomping through London, cussing all the way. Well, anyway, so now I've said the videos are not okay for children, so cuss away. Thank you for watching. Please use the comment section for any comments or questions. It will really help me to know what's on your mind. I'm happy to answer any questions on video, and it'll just let me know what's important to you. If you think that anyone on your platforms will find this interesting, please feel free to share. And I will see you soon.